Alrighty, today we are going to be using overlapping to create a work of art. So we just learned that overlapping means that one object is on top of another object. We're going to start with our oil pastels. If you would rather start with a pencil and trace with an oil pastel, that is totally fine. So I'm going to show you a few different types of leaves you could draw, or if you have a different way you want to make them, that's totally fine too. We are going to start with 4 big leaves on our paper. So one way you can make a leaf is draw a curved line and then draw a curved line going the opposite way to make kind of this football or eyeball shape. And then down the middle, draw a straight line for the stem. So that's one big leaf. Another way you could do a leaf is draw a letter U and then draw a wavy line connecting the top of the leaf. We can also add a stem on this one. If you want to add veins to your leaf, you could add diagonal lines. And a third way to draw a leaf is kind of like this one, except instead of a wavy line, we could do a zigzag line. Line down the middle and then draw the veins of the leaf if you want. So there's 3 big leaves, and then I'm going to repeat one, so I have 4 big leaves to start. Okay, so I've got my 4 big leaves. Now I'm going to overlap 3 leaves under 3 of these leaves. So let's see, maybe over here by my orange leaf, I want to overlap a spiky leaf. So remember, oil pastel doesn't have an eraser, so I have to draw starting by the edge and then stopping once I get to this leaf. Imagine that my line comes out this way and start on the other side. So there is my letter U, and then I can complete the line and add my details. Okay, so then I need to overlap 2 more leaves. Pretend that my curved line continues behind my leaf, but not really, because I want it to look like it's going behind. And then my straight line for the stem. You can also overlap off of the edge of your paper. So there's 3. So I overlapped 3 leaves, and I think I'm actually going to overlap 1 more. So now I'm going to draw 2 or 3 smaller leaves in my open spaces to kind of fill up my space a little bit more. So these can overlap if you want, or they can just be by themselves. All right, and then I've got some more space right here, so I think I'm going to do 1 more overlapping leaf. All right, so I have filled up my paper with overlapping leaves, and now I am going to use my watercolor paints to paint the leaves today. Okay, so since we are doing fall leaves, we are going to be using our hot colors on our watercolor tray. So remember, hot colors are things that remind us of hot things, like fire and lava. The cold colors are things that remind us of cold things, like ice and rain. So if you forget, you can cover up half of your watercolor tray, and if the colors look like hot things, like fire, then those are the hot colors. If you cover half of the tray and they look like cold things, those are the cold colors. So for our leaves, we are going to stick with these 4 pink, red, orange, yellow hot colors. So today we are only going to paint the leaves. Next time we are going to paint the background. When you use your watercolors, you don't have to worry about covering up the oil pastel. This is called a resist because the oil pastel and the water don't mix together. And also, when you are painting your leaves, you want to make sure that you paint each leaf a different color. So here I'm painting this leaf yellow. So since I'm using yellow right now, I'm going to paint this leaf that's touching it with a different hot color. So now I'm gonna keep on painting until all of my leaves are colored. All right, so once all of your leaves are painted, we are going to put these on the drying rack. And then next time when you come to art, we are going to paint our backgrounds. All right, guys, so today we are going to paint our backgrounds for our hot color leaf paintings that we did last time. For this part, you are going to need a black watercolor, also a white oil pastel, and then this time we're going to use one of these red brushes. So this is called a flat brush because it's flat on the top, and this helps us paint a big area a little bit faster than the round brushes that we usually use. So today we're using these flat brushes for the background. So with my white oil pastel, first I'm going to make some swirly lines in the background. And you can't see them yet, but they will appear once I start painting. And these swirly lines are gonna look like the wind that is blowing our leaves around. So you can do spiral lines, you can do some wavy lines, but I'm doing little short lines. So if I do a wave, I just want a little short wave. I don't wanna do a whole line that connects all the way like this, just little spirals and little wavies. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my black watercolor, and these are not in the paint palettes like we usually use, so we can just keep them on a plate. And now I want to start painting over my background, and look, you can see my white oil pastel is showing up one of those wind lines. And I want to be really careful that I don't accidentally paint on top of my leaf. I'm just going to use my paintbrush and go right next to my leaf. I'm only painting on my white background. Here's another wind line. It's so cool. Okay, and I paint right next to my leaves, trying really hard not to mess up my beautiful colorful paints that I did last time with the hot colors. So I'm gonna keep on painting until my background is all completely painted. Here's one of my short little wavy lines too. So see, I did not make a really long wavy, just a little short one. And when you paint around something like this leaf, I'm almost like tracing it with my paintbrush. I'm kind of following the oil pastel line instead of painting like this. And that way, when I do my next layer, I don't have to worry so much about getting outside my edges. So kind of trace it with your brush first and then fill up the big spaces. So when you're finished today, you can put your artwork on the drying rack and clean up your area.